What happened to the "cool kids" from your school after they graduated? Their rapping careers never took off, I'm afraid. Shocker. I think most of them have done very well. One of them, the best looking, most athletic boy in my school, died from ALS several years ago. That really rocked me for some reason. I didn't even really know the guy. He was cool, but he seemed like a decent person. Death is always the scariest when it happens to someone you would never consider dying. Coolest kid in my school was one of those charismatic prodigies. He got full ride scholarships. He partied with the jocks, played magic with the nerds, talked to me about building computers and always kicked my ass at Counter-Strike. And he played 4 instruments before he was 15. I think he got a degree in chemical engineering, then went back for 1 year to get a music theory degree too. Then after 5 years of working he decided that he wanted to be a doctor, so he went back to med school and eventually started his own practice. Freaking dude had cheat codes on. One of those people you just kind of wish would go into politics. These are who cool kids should be. One went to jail for drug possession with intent to sell. One dropped out of college and works at a mall kiosk, and other quit his cushy corporate job and started a non-profit that provides shelter, food, and job resources to homeless single mothers and their children. Most of them got into Ivy League schools / top private schools and then landed 6-figure jobs after graduation in big cities. Geez. They all jumped up in the air while walking off campus and froze mid-air. Weird. They drove off into the clouds at my school. The cool bully kid who bullies me in high school asked me last year if I have a job for him. Edit. I was hesitant, but I referred him to one of my friend who could really give him a job or any job. But it was either he didn't approach him right or he didn't pass the assessment or something, cause I never heard from him again. Can't give him a job cause I work at home, and I'm kind and stable enough to give him a chance through my connections, but not dumb or comfortable enough to let him near me. Go on. They all got fake tits, married old bald guys for a few years, popped out a kid or two, then took off with half his money. Now they drink way too much wine, post about how being a stay-at-home mom is the hardest job ever, and have leather skin, and try to sell me Mac-up on FB. Why are you friends with my aunt on Facebook? Well, the captain of the cheerleading squad left after graduation, but only long enough to go to university and get a teaching degree. She came back to the school as a teacher, became the faculty advisor for the cheerleading squad and recently retired. So, she stayed in high school for 30 years. This is why it's okay to peak after high school. Edit. Also okay to peak in high school. Yeah, you really want to avoid having a rewarding 30-year career in your hometown. There's lots of ways to find happiness. It sounds like this lady was incredibly lucky to find something she loved at a young age and made a career out of it. Not every hometown is a place to escape from, and if her parent or parents and/or in-laws also stayed in the hometown, she saved herself / her husband a lot of stress and money in their later years by staying close enough to help them or care for them. Since I wasn't one of the cool kids, I don't have any contact with people from high school. Never been to reunion, will never go to a reunion. I doubt I will even be invited to a school reunion. That's how much I'm added to anyone. Bald. I'm bald. Hi bald. I'm dad. One is dead, one is doing life in the federal pen for running a meth ring, the rest are just living the standard issue small town life. Standard small town life. So basically dead or dealing drugs. Or working for a small, possibly family ran business, making a modest income, and living a quiet life. Not every small town is a goddamn drug den. The losers now look like modern day hipsters and the cool kids look like modern day criminals. At least there's no line for the coffee shop Noon's heard of. Basically, I don't really know about most of them. The one girl who was like the queen bee in my class ended up getting pregnant at 20 by her longtime boyfriend, returning home while she had the baby, and then finished school locally. I think she married the boyfriend, and they are still married. I should look that up. Her son should be in his mid-20s now. I remember finding out about this when I was preparing for a semester abroad, and how different our lives immediately became. Another kid from a few years before me owns a bar and dabbles in music. Seems pretty happy. A girl from that same class, who was going to go out and conquer Broadway, ended up on a soap for a few years, then did audiobook narrations, ended up in Las Vegas. She's now divorced, and from the little bit I've seen on Facebook, is not aging well. Man, quite a fall, because, whoa, she wasn't shareable in high school. A couple of the popular girls came out as lesbians. Looking back, how did we not know? A few other people, I went to my 25th last year, seemed to be normal suburban moms and dads, working, taking care of the house, etc, etc. Edit, I totally forgot that one of the kids in my class, the type of kid who seemed cool to other kids, but who was actually just an idiot, ended up getting killed in a car accident in his mid-20s. I don't know what the details of the accident were, but he was pretty wild in high school, so I assume that behavior continued afterwards. Weird to think that this asshole's life was more than half over when I knew him. He stayed in our same boring town, in the same relationships, had babies at 18 or 19, joined MLMs and are now flooding my social media inboxes with messages that start out with, "Hey girl, it has been too long," and end with, "Would you like to host a party / buy my stuff?" OMG, I have been getting a lot of those messages. So sad. Half of them sell crack, the other are SoundCloud rappers who smoke in mall stairwells. You figure out real soon being cool in high school doesn't mean much. Half of them ended up pretty good or okay, I'd say. The other half are either unemployed or work at the gas station or supermarket, which is totally fine, but I feel they could have done more. I mean, most people can do more if they care to. It's still honest work and whatnot, but few people's career has to end behind a register or stocking shelves. They look back at their glory days and wonder where it all went. 12 years of constant adulation from their peers, parents, and teachers all came to a screeching halt one evening in June. And just like that, it was over. Our valedictorian was in all the sports. She got married to another girl. Beyond that, most seem to have gotten very boring jobs. They got everything. The homecoming queen never went to college, went to the right bars instead, married rich and has a house that could be on a soap opera with a ton of land. She doesn't work, and they say God is fair. Emotionally stunted addicts with numerous kids, and no way or desire to support them. I think 2 of them actually moved off to college, didn't go crazy, graduated, got married, and are leading productive lives. Prom king died of an overdose at 30. Homecoming queen ran over a little kid in her car a year after graduation. She went to jail for a year or 2. Most of the other cool kids went to college, got normal jobs, and have pretty decent lives, or so it seems. Good looking spouses, nice homes, nice cars, a couple kids, etc. Some of them became well-adjusted adults with successful careers, and are very happy in life. Others though became total train wrecks. The group of girls I used to hang out with that were considered "edgy" and "cool" ended up being complete shitshows with serious alcohol and addiction problems. A lot of them suffer from crippling mental health issues as well. It's really sad actually, BC they had so much promise and potential. I hope they get the help they need. Jake and Ashley were married that spring. She immediately realized it was a mistake and began a decades-long affair, finally divorcing Jake and claiming sole custody of their child. Jake never saw his son again. The Rickster finally found the courage to tell his parents he was gay. They hung up the phone and haven't spoken to him since. Bookworm Beth went to Harvard and met the man of her dreams. He gave her HPV and borrowed $1,400 he has yet to pay back. Buck finally got his act together. Unfortunately, a truck accident would claim both arms and his wiener. He eats through a tube and pees through a different tube. After graduation, Emily was never seen again. If you have any information as to the whereabouts of this man, please contact the police. And of course Mrs. Henderson. She died alone. These were my best friends. I really miss them. It's too bad I drowned in a pool when I was 8. What the frick? Brandon took my gaming laptop since he doesn't have a job and his dad kicked him out. Jessica got pregnant like not even 6 months after graduating and is no longer going on that awesome anime trip to Japan she always kept talking about. Paul was doing fine for a year, but then he got charged with grabbing an underage girl's boob with her dad watching, and he got out like 3 months ago. Nate is still in Upper Me and works at a brewery that I know of so far. I still have yet to take him up on that hangout sesh. Bethany did show up at my town one time. Since her brother was now clinically insane, I still had a crush on her, though she stayed the night at my place and I dropped her back home the next day. She didn't talk to me after that. About a year goes by and she is looking pasty white and got fat and has a kid as well. Brianna hasn't changed at all. She's still into her drawings and I check out her DeviantArt page from time to time. Her sister went to a different country, Europe or something, IDK, and is doing good. Frickin' loudmouth Rowdy Kyle got put in the slammer because he punched a guy too hard at a party. The guy fell off a wooden porch and died. Steven just walked off the face of the earth. Not a single blip of info. Last info I got was a post he made on FB back in like 2012 talking about a football match. Jordan followed his scholarship through just like his dad wanted him to. I wanted him to stay in town, but who am I to stop him from obtaining his dreams? I just wish he would visit so I could have a use for my second player controller.